Okay, so like you said earlier, sloth seems like a mindset that you have.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you took a person who has tea at 10:15 from another country
Right.
and brought him over here and said, you need to get to work, no more tea, that would be pretty drastic change for that person.
Sure.
I mean, amongst all the other things.
Right.
But if you took someone that was used to that type of work and said, no, you have to work 8 straight hours without stopping,
Right.
that would be a hard transition.
Sure it would.
So, how do I stop being a sloth?
All right. How do you stop being a sloth?
Yeah.
All right. So I don't know if I want to say that person who's coming into this situation is now therefore slothful.
I'm just saying that as an example, because that would seem like a hard thing to do.
Right.
So if I'm used to not working and having if I'm used to not working and having other people provide for me and all of that.
Yeah. Okay.
That seems like a hard change. And And also,
sure.
how do I fix it?
It is a hard change, right?
Yeah.
Because now you've gotten used to other people caring for you, that I don't have to work. I don't have to do things I don't like. And so I think a lot of it is, like going to the Lord and saying, Lord, I need to die to myself because
Okay.
Lord, I need you to give, I need a grace, Lord, to do the things that I really actually in my flesh don't want to go do, but I know that I need to do. And so I think there's always parts for us involved in work of things, man, we don't love it. We don't like it, but I can't just go, well, I'm not going to do it. I'm just not going to do it because I don't care. I don't like this. Therefore I'm out. Well, no, that's not the way this works. You've got we have to work. We have to do the things that we don't like to do. So I think in light of that, you're fighting a lot of your inner self, and that's why I'm saying that part needs to die. And I don't know how else you do that other than going, Lord, I need you to kill the selfish part of me that has become so dependent on others that I will not work for myself or for my family. And so I think that, I think it's just going to the Lord and asking for his help. And now I will say too, that when you get around people who have healthy work ethics, that you begin to see what that looks like and you begin to see the reward of that. And I think that's something that can grab hold of us too and say, all right, I'm learning how to work. I'm learning what it looks like to have a work ethic if that's never been modeled for me before.
Okay.
And so I think getting around people that have healthy work ethics are really important as well. But as far as that mindset, to me, it really is just like, man, Lord, I need you to transform the way I think about work and about self. It's interesting, and we really haven't hit this in the episode, but one of the ideas of sloth and slothfulness is actually self-pity.
Okay.
And so when you look into like what it is to be slothful, is to have self-pity. And I think when we have self-pity, when we're just, an over-exaggerated point of this, of self-pity, kind of woe is me kind of thing, we tend to not want to go and do. We tend to want to just let other people care for us, and I think that has to change as well. I think it has to go, Holy Spirit, this is not okay. It's not right. Because self-pity is actually a really high focus on self. And so it's just, Lord, I need to not focus so much on myself and focus on the fact that I need to care for myself, care for others, provide, and do what you call me to do.
So what about the other one? What about the other end of your spectrum?
Oh, the workaholic?
Yeah, how do I fix that?
I think you need to ask, why do I feel the need to work this much?
Okay.
Some people may come into it honestly, and by that I mean they feel like they've got to work those 60 to 80 hours, maybe at 2 different jobs
Because some people
to provide. Yeah,
Yeah.
sure. And so, but I think over the long haul, like if I'm doing that 7 days a week, like that's not sustainable over the long haul. And so I think it's like, all right, Lord, what does it look like for me to work to like, it's one thing if I have to do it, right? It's another thing that I'm choosing to do it.
Right.
And I think that's the idea of a sloth or idea of a workaholic. It's like the sloth is choosing to be lazy.
Okay.
The workaholic is choosing to go work this much. Now, again, it may be because of a dopamine rush or an adrenaline rush, or they're now addicted to it, or they're addicted to the idea of the reward from it, right? The extra money, the perks, whatever it may be. Or the value, or this, some people just get a sense of gratification and from it. They feel really good about themselves. Look how much I worked.
Or they like what they're doing.
Yeah, or they genuinely like I know someone who's a workaholic and they genuinely love what they do. But they're working 6 to 7 days a week. But when you do that, you can't help but neglect other areas of your life. And I think that's where it all becomes really problematic. Like it was one thing when I was single and I was, and you're working, 60 hours a week.
Because you could be either one when you're single, and it doesn't matter.
I mean,
sort of.
Yeah.
Comparatively to other people.
Right. Sure. And so like when I was single and I'm working like 60 hours a week, like, okay.
Yeah.
No big deal. But now that I'm married and have 3 kids, if I'm working that much on a regular basis, something's being neglected in the midst of that.
Okay.
And so,
are you neglecting nothing when you're single? Like if I was 23,
right,
and was either working just enough or working 24/7,
right?
Does it matter?
I think it matters if you're neglecting your own self and your own self-care.
Okay.
And I think it matters if you're neglecting the Lord.
Okay.
And pursuing Him. I think it matters on those fronts. But again, when you're single, you can work a lot of hours. I don't think it's healthy,
right?
To do it just for. I don't think it's healthy to do it for just a really long extended period of time. Like again, I get it because I know even people who have kids and those kind of things, like they're having to work a lot of hours for whatever reason. Okay, to make sure that they provide for their family. Man, I get that. And I applaud that. So that's why this whole conversation, I think this is why it's so nuanced and hard, right? This is why
point.
This topic is so hard to stick and talk about.
So it's basically like how much responsibility you have.
Yeah,
you need to meet your responsibilities.
Yes.
Okay.
I think that's a great way of phrasing it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And not go too far one way or the other.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
But at least meet them.
At least meet, the best to the best that you can.
Okay.
Meet them. Yeah. I think that's a great way of phrasing it.